Hi everyone. I'm Daniel from the Circuits team, and I want to give you a quick presentation about our newly released SDK and what you can do with it. Let me give you a quick introduction about what Circuits is. Circuits is a social money. What do we mean by that? In Circuits, every person gets their own personal currency. So whenever you sign up, you get your own ERC20 token. And here's Alice with her blue token. Here is Bob with his green token and Charlie with his red token. So how are these tokens minted, or how do they come to be? So every person can mint exactly 1 circle per hour. This ensures that there is a fair issuance no matter when you enter the protocol, so there shouldn't be a FOMO for that case. This is how it works. 1 hour of time is exactly 1 circle. And there's a catch, because if you can just sign up, create your own currency, a botnet can do the exact same thing, and you have a whole lot of counterfeit money. So transferring circles is limited to trusted entities. It means if you want to transfer your circles to someone and this person doesn't previously trust you, the transfer will not work. So what you need to do first is to establish a trust relation. So here in this case, our green smiley reaches out to the red smiley and says, okay, I'm trusting you. And only then the red smiley can send to the green smiley, and all are happy. So same thing with blue and green. Blue reaches out to green and says, hey, I trust you. And then green is allowed to send their own tokens to blue. So what happens if you want to transfer your tokens to someone who doesn't trust you? This is also possible via a so-called transitive transfer. In this case, I think we want to send from red to blue. Yes, so the first step would be red wants to send to blue, but blue doesn't accept red's tokens. So what happens in the background is that a component called the Pathfinder will do token swaps for you. So first, red sends to green and gets some green tokens that blue in turn accepts, and then red can send to blue via the green green smiley. So a really quick demo time. Let's see if that works as well. We have a small example application for the SDK. Please excuse the design. Maybe I should quit that. Yes. That doesn't seem to work. How do I get it to the screen? Maybe I changed the settings. Sorry. Mirroring. Ooh, this is huge. Yeah, okay. So let's try it again. So here's a small example application that's also linked in the documentation. And what you can do with it is you can sign up at Circuits and basically perform all the basic actions like giving somebody trust, receiving trust, sending circles. And we just start by setting up an account here. So we call this account Alice account, click the register human button. MetaMask asks us to sign a transaction, and we do the same here for our Bob account. Okay, and what that returns is our address of our registered avatar. And just to see that these people don't have trust connections right now, we can put it into our Data Explorer app. and yeah, watch this account. So this account is on itself right now. It already has their own token, but it cannot transfer this token anywhere. So what we need to do next is to give this account some trust. So we have here our second account, and can interact with it and say, okay, from this account we add a trust relation to the other account. Let's do that. And now if I explore that again in our data application, we should be able to see that Alice got a new trust relation. So this is a one-sided trust relation now, so that means that Bob can send to Alice, or Alice can send to Bob. Let's see. Let's try that. So here in this case, let's say the red browser trusted the blue browser. That means from here, we should now be able to send some circles. Let's send 10 of them. And should also be able to see that in the so-called transaction visualizer, which has a list of recently executed transactions. Maybe I have to reload that. Okay. I think the sort order is not that nice. But okay. We have this trust relation here now, so that means the trusted entity can send to someone else, but this is still a very limited scenario. Let's imagine I'm in a different city, nobody trusts me there, I found a shop that accepts circles and I want to pay there. How can I do that? So for cases like this, we have this component called the pathfinder, and let's check out what our path from here to, let's say, some random shop. We're an organization called Circles Co-op. Let's say we want to create send from our newly created avatar to this shop. Well, here is the mistake. Come auto completion. Okay, that didn't work. Yep, it should autocomplete, so now it should work. So this didn't yield any result, so because there is no trust connection between the two of them, let's add a more established account in the mix. Let's just use my account for that purpose. And I can, oh, sorry. Let's trust our newly created account from my established account, which will enable it to access a larger path of the network. I need to check some address that, sorry. Okay, let's try that again. This time it works. So now by adding trust from my established account to the new account, it should be able to access the rest of the graph, which we should be able to see here in our trust graph visualizer. Let's use this address again. And we now see it's connected to me. I trust this account, and that means that I'm accepting this account's circles now. So when we now try again to calculate the route from this account to our shop, we should be able to send a much bigger amount than 0. Oh yeah, and we can see this is our newly created account. It's the sender or the source, and I became an intermediary. So what happens is this person's tokens are swapped for my tokens, and my tokens are accepted by the shop. And this way we can facilitate transfers between entities that are not directly trusted. So I think that's it for the demo. I'd like to point you to our SDK documentation. We have a small section about how it works. You can read about the issuance of the personal currency in more detail here. There are some really nice parts to it for which I don't have time to explain right now. There's also a concept of group currencies, which is necessary because since we have so many personal currencies, it's difficult to integrate that with existing protocols like market makers, DEXs, or whatnot. And for this case, you can wrap personal currencies into a group currency and treat them as one, which makes integration with existing protocols much easier. Yeah, then we have a quick overview about the Circle stack. So the base layer is definitely the contracts, but there's also some accompanying infrastructure like the Pathfinder and an indexer. So if you're interested in that, here you can find the links. And then we have an SDK finally with 3 example applications. So there's one very simple Svelte kit application. That's the one you have seen here, the one that has this great design. And there's also a fully featured Svelte kit example application that you can use as a starting point. It's linked here, it's called Secret Garden. And for the React devs of you, we also have a small React Playground app, which you can check out and just start modifying it. Yeah, other than that, our documentation provides a comprehensive guide, which you can really just go through and copy and paste to your project. Each step has a full example at the end for Svelte and React, so it should be easy to get you started. And that's it from my side. Let's go back to the presentation, and I quickly share the QR code for the docs here. And yeah, thank you very much. After that, I will hand over to my colleague Gabriel, who will tell you about AI agents and maybe a little bit about how they can be integrated with Circles. So we have one bounty for the best integration of the Circles SDK, a bounty for the AI agents about he will talk, and a combined bounty. Thank you very much. Let's go over to Gabriel.
Not looking very good. Oh, awesome, thank you. Hello guys, I think I have 10 minutes or so I'm gonna be quick. Basically, I'm gonna start with where can you get help and support. It's here, so we have a Telegram group, we also have a Gnosis Discord channel. Those are linked, I should actually look at my screen. Those are linked here in the bounties. So you can see at this is the bounty built with AI agents. So you can just click here. We have a starter repo here, as well as some great documentation on Gitbook. What are we trying to build? What are you interested in? We're building agents that interact with prediction markets. The agent that we have in mind and we thought for this hackathon is what we call general agent. And the general agent is simply an agent that starts with, you should learn, you should evolve, and you should survive. So it's very general, and it has a set of tools at his disposal. Basically, it's how to interact with prediction markets by buying tokens, selling tokens, fetching its balance, and redeeming its winnings. But we're also interested in, for the hackathon, that you guys be creative and create new tools that you guys find interesting for this agent, either interacting with other DeFi protocols or noses, doing any kind of tools that you can think of. That's the one avenue that we're interested in. The second avenue is if you guys have some frameworks or some other ideas on how to create such an agent, also feel free to do so, and reach out to us if you need some guidance, some orientation, or want to bounce off ideas. The contacts are here as well in the documentation. Also, if you guys go through the documentation here, if you need some OpenAI API keys, we also got you covered. So let us know. And Vanchinka is the API key master, so just let her know. And yeah, some other tools, they're actually free to get started, so feel free to create an app. And just to let you go, okay, I actually talking too fast here. Let me slow down a little bit. How does that look like, right? So this is also linked in the documentation afterwards. So this is a dashboard that we have our current state of the agent, right? So what is the agent doing right now? If you guys see on the bottom here, you can see one iteration for it to run. It's basically a while loop, and then you say, okay, run once, run twice, and so on. If we say run, let's say 10 times, oops, 10 times, with the default prompt that we have, learn, survive, evolve, then you're gonna see that it does something. It starts really slow and says, hey, what do I need to do? Learn about learning. What should I do? And then it slowly tries to fetch the markets because it understands that surviving means having a positive balance in XDAI. So you can see that it fetches the balance here. And now, as it has the tools for fetching prediction markets, it also fetches the markets that it has at its disposal. So those are some of the questions that it has access to. I think that it exhausted the iterations. Oh no, it's still running. So I would expect it to place a bet, so buy some outcome tokens, hopefully. Yeah, it's actually predicting the probability for a market, so you can see what is the probability that this market ID happens, and then it says 0.75, I don't like this one, or I do like it, or let me get a probability from another source, and by predicting the probability of a given market, then it decides if it should place a bet or not place a bet for a given market, right? If I trust that my prediction is correct, then it makes more sense than if my prediction is rather low. So I guess those, yeah, it didn't really place a bet. So if you can start more iterations here, you can also say it has some memory, right? So you can see it's just in the end, so it picks up what it did before, so it has some history. So yeah, that's what I wanted to show. Buy yes, it's a tool that it has, it's already there, and it, as I said, places a bet. So buy yes outcome tokens. Yeah, and maybe going through the code real quick. Anyways, this dashboard is linked. Feel free to take a look. What I wanted to say is this is a very Python heavy project. So the general agent is here, and the relevant function is called main. And the main here involves creating an agent. So it's really standard OpenAI, ChatGPT stuff. You register the functions that you have. So for example, you also have the get balance here that it fetches your balance in XDAI. It fetches your wallet name as well. And it registers the functions, and you're able to configure the prompt. So as I said, this is one of the prompts that we have, act as a trader, or you can also adapt that to your own needs if you have a different use case in mind. And then you run iterations here with a given number of iterations that you have. Yeah, anyways, support channels are there. The other thing that I wanted to briefly mention is the bounties themselves. So you can read it through basically, but this is really the use case we're looking for. New functions, new framework, and be creative. I mean, more than happy to bounce off ideas and seeing any other interesting use cases you might have. And I just would like to highlight this option here. So the Circles AI integration, that's something we're working internally at Gnosis and trying to understand how kind of touch points we have. Those 2 points that we mentioned are just suggestions. So having Circles as collateral for prediction markets. So the bets that we were placing, they involved XDAI as collateral, right? As kind of bounty for the market, for the question. But you can also think of placing Circles as collateral. What would that mean? That's also quite interesting. And the second use case is co-owning AI agents via Circles. So it's nice to have an agent that belongs to you and you can conduct actions in your behalf, but it's also very cool to have an agent that belongs to a group, right? And you're only entitled to that agent if you belong to a Circles group, for example, if you belong to an organization, as Daniel was talking about, for example. What would that mean? That's the kind of second bounty that we have. Yeah, all the repos are linked in here. Just if you guys have any questions there, more than happy to take them. Otherwise, I think I'm through with my presentation. Please, yeah.
Are you interested in some integration with social fi forecaster agents?
With social fi, sorry?
Yeah, social fi, like forecaster and agents.
Would also be interesting, yeah. We haven't worked in that direction, but I would be curious to see something like that, yes. Yeah, please.
Do you have like kind of like slashing implemented if there's bad actors that like already trusted your token?
That is a great point. There is, I think the Circles guys are better able to answer that than I am, but there are kind of, let's say, measures in place to not allow you to kind of break the system and having, let's say, a double you and somebody else that you're actually one person with 2 wallets. That's actually built in the Circles protocol, in the Circles system. That is not, so in order to not allow that to happen. Yeah. Does that answer your question, or?
Kind of. I have like, maybe I can talk to somebody. I have a bunch of questions.
Please, yeah. Yeah, feel free to reach out to the team afterwards, yeah. I guess just checking if I need to say something else. No, I think the getting started is also here. Yeah, so it's, as I said, very Python based. I also recommend using Poetry and PyEnv. That's the easiest way to install dependencies and everything to make them local. And also deploying agents to make it not really local, but also live. I like this package Model, which lets you deploy functions on-chain. Not on-chain, but deploy functions like a normal cloud offering. So that's very easy to get started. Yeah, and feel free to reach out if you have any trouble there. We'll be around. Thank you.